The views expressed and the opinions given by their guests do not necessarily reflect those of the Odyssey Files hosts, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
This is Susan Slaughter from Paranormal Caught on Camera, introducing you to the most epic show ever, the Odyssey Files with David Soyering and Michael O'Neill. You're welcome. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh!
Kim, what are you doing?
Well, I'm telling Mike and Dave, it's time to get on the show.
Oh, well, the Odyssey Files starts now.
Good evening, paranormal community, and welcome to episode 225 of the Odyssey Files. I am your host. Stop interrupting me. I'm your host, Michael O'Neill. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. David Soyering. Good evening, David. How are you?
Well, now that I know we're at episode 225, I'm wonderful.
What were you before?
Mediocre.
Boy, who says knowledge doesn't change people's lives? I mean, come on.
Just drastically changed mine right there. Living proof.
I remember back in high school, there was a girl that came into the publications room because I was a member of the newspaper my senior year, and for whatever reason just expressed to everybody that rent has changed my life, and everybody made fun of her for it, as they should. But I've never seen Rent. Maybe it is life altering.
I have not seen it, so I will not comment because I don't want to put my foot in my mouth and then have to backtrack a month from now if I actually sit down and watch it because somebody gives me grief about it. So
do you really think that a musical like Rent could change a person's life?
Oh, geez. You're going to put me on the spot with a question like that? Do I think it could change somebody's life? Possibly, yes. Is The Wizard of Oz a musical? Kind of, right?
Yes, The Wizard of Oz is a musical.
Okay. Well, The Wizard of Oz, I think, probably changed a lot of people's lives. You know, for better or for worse. Maybe people got freaked out about witches or flying monkeys or cursed this or whatever. But, in the end, it had a good story, and, the lion got his heart. And so I think it probably changed lives. It influenced me.
The lion got courage.
Oh, got courage. Sorry.
It was the Tin Man that got the heart, and the Scarecrow got the brains.
There you go.
But really,
you're younger than me. I don't remember all that. I haven't seen it forever, but I remember it made an impression on me when I was younger.
Right. But I mean, really, he gave the wizard gave him a diploma, which we all know doesn't make anybody smarter.
No.
He gave him an alarm clock in the shape of a heart. Everybody hates alarm clocks.
Yeah.
So that didn't work. And I can't even remember. I know they gave him a perm or something, the lion, and he had courage. I don't know. Or they told him he was brave. I don't know. But
I don't know if a guy getting a perm gives you courage, but we'll go with it, man, because I can't dispute that. So I'm gonna go with you.
Well, I just mean they gave him perm and they put pink bows in his hair, and
I do remember that. Yes.
So, but anyway, we do have another great show for you tonight. Something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I just like the premise of it. I thought we could have a lot of fun with it, and I think we are. And that is, obviously, hour one we're going to do, our normal stories.
Yep.
Got some great ones for everybody, including the cat one. Very excited.
Yep.
And during the second hour, we're going to things that make you go, hmm. Obviously inspired by one of the greatest songs ever made, Things to Make You Go Home by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. However, I don't think any of ours are going to be like relationship based like that song was.
No.
But I know mine, especially Dave and I have not shared
Nope.
what our hmms are. So I'm looking forward to hearing yours, and I'm definitely looking forward to you hearing mine.
Well,
So
of course you are.
I thought long and hard about all of these, as I do all the time.
Okay.
So
I'm excited to hear them. I've got a couple of good ones that I think are going to enlighten some people. And then I got a couple weird ones that are just going to be like, So
I am going to warn everybody now that all of mine except one will not change your life, maybe. And will probably make you be like, what's wrong with that boy?
Well, isn't that the title of the show? Things that make you go, like, what the hell am I doing listening to the Odyssey Files?
Well, that nobody wonders.
No.
They all know why. They all know why.
Well, of course. That's why they're here.
Exactly. So, Dave is going to, we're going to switch things up.
Yep.
So Dave is going to go first and kick us off with our stories.
Yep. So this one is titled, I Don't Know What to Do. Tonight, I just saw a full black figure in my hall, and I don't know what to do or how to feel about it. Stuff like this has been happening occasionally all my life. I've talked to a priest, but they just tell me to pray more. I've had horrid demonic dreams, a photo with a face directly behind me, which looked almost like a dog, and a feeling that is either incredibly terrifying, making me paralyzed with fear and crying, or I feel completely fine, like someone I trust is behind me supporting me. This was the first night I have actually seen anything in front of me. All other times have been out of the corner of my eye. I don't know what to do or who to talk to because I feel like people won't believe me. I feel like I'm crazy. I've heard that before. I've heard both those statements before. Part of me wants this to keep happening. But the fear I experience is pure hell. Should I be scared? Should I not show emotion and feed into it? Am I crazy? I bought holy water as a kid and my faith is decent, but I just don't know what or who it is. And I'm tired of crying and I'm tired of no one believing me. Please help. Okay. So, off and on throughout your life, you've been seeing things. I'm going to assume corner of the eye stuff because this person said that it was the first time it was something directly in front of them. I've never exactly heard the term horrid demonic dreams, but I'm just going to assume that those are just nightmares. Like everybody has nightmares at one point or another in your life, whether they're really bad ones or whether they're just mild ones. We all have them. The photo with the face directly behind me, which almost looked like a dog, maybe it was a reflection. I don't know. But the thing that got me here is that I don't know who I want to talk to. I feel crazy. Part of me wants this to keep happening, but the fear I experience is pure hell. Okay, so I'm going to focus on that statement right there. If you want this to keep happening, okay, then you're inviting it in. Now, that doesn't mean that there's anything attached to you. It doesn't mean that there's anything negative in your space or around you or in your home or in your life. It doesn't mean that you're possessed. It doesn't mean you're oppressed. It doesn't mean that a demon is chasing you. But what is happening here, I think, is that whatever is going on, this person is encouraging it even subconsciously, I think, to want it to continue to happen. And your subconscious is a super powerful thing. We've talked about it many times in many shows. And I think that statement right there keys to me that this person is keeping this thing alive. And I think it's all just in their head, but it's keeping it alive in their life because of the fact that they don't want it to stop. So do I think they're crazy? No, not at all. Should I be scared? No. Should I not show emotion and feed into it? That's really not a question, because I don't think there's anything there. And so there's nothing for you to feed into. I think that your mind is projecting this is what's happening here. I don't really think that there's anything negative or evil going on here.
I agree with you on that one. Let's reiterate, something that we have talked about many, many times and mentioned many, many times. A black figure is not necessarily evil.
Right.
It is just a partial manifestation. So even if, let's just say, your deceased grandmother decides to come and visit you and wants to, or is trying to manifest, if they are not able to fully manifest themselves, they will appear as a black figure. And there is always a difference, a huge difference between a shadow figure and a shadow person. And this one is definitely a shadow figure, which means it's just a partial manifestation. Not, just because it's black does not mean that it's evil. It just means it's not fully manifested. So with that said, I agree with you, Dave. I don't know exactly what constitutes as a demonic dream.
Well, horrid demonic dreams is what got me, because the word horrid there, makes it, to me, the horrid demonic dreams to me would be like being in hell and being flayed alive, and then them walking out of the room, whatever demon was flaying you, walking out of the room, going to get a drink of water and take a piss, and coming back and you healing while he was gone and him starting all over again. And that just continually happening. That would be a horrid demonic dream to me.
That's very specific.
That's very graphic, I understand. But that's a horrid demonic dream and specific. I was trying to give a concrete example.
Right. But that's your definition of one.
What could be one, right? Yeah.
What is this person's? Because we all know that people think 3 knocks on a wall is automatically demonic, whereas we know differently. So people have different definitions of what they consider a demonic dream.
Sure.
Whether it's horrid or not. I just think that that's just an added, that's just an adjective. It's just something to build. A demonic dream is never going to be good. So whether it's horror, nobody says I had a beautiful demonic dream. Like, nobody ever says that.
Yeah, I had a pleasant demonic nightmare the other night.
Exactly. So just saying a demonic dream, I think you just automatically assume it was probably pretty horrid. But anyway, I agree. The whole part of me wants this to keep happening. Why? Like that is what gets me there as to why.
Right.
And I think that the context of that it would be very, very telling. Do I think that you're crazy? Nope, not at all. The thing that you're doing, you talk to a priest. Of course, all they're going to tell you to do is pray more. Oh, you need to have a better relationship with God. That's what they always say. Unless you go to some like deacon that is, has experience with exorcisms and shit, that's all they're ever going to tell you is you need to pray more. You need to have a better relationship with God and send you on your way. And so what I think you should do if you really want to talk to somebody is talk to a paranormal team, contact a team in your area. Hell, contact any team really. If all you want to do is just kind of get your story out there and get answers and get advice, um, is contact a paranormal team. If they don't believe you, they're a shit team. Go to somebody else, because that's what they're there to do. They're there to believe you and to help you in any way they can. I mean, even if they, let's just say for the sake of argument, they don't believe you, they still should try to give you advice as if they do. And at least I mean, that's what I would do. But I mean, should you be scared? No. I definitely think you're psyching yourself out. I would have to see this picture of this face looking like the dog or whatever, just to see if maybe, as Dave said, it was a reflection or it was something. If you're matrixing, I mean,
Smoke
everybody
in the background, a cloud, fog. You know, we see shit.
Exactly.
We see faces all the time in things that aren't there. So
right. I mean, are you standing in front of a mirror? I mean,
Right.
and there's smudges
a
on it.
window
I mean,
pane, right?
exactly. Like we'd have to see the photo and
You know what that makes me think of? Remember that a while back you shared that picture with me and you're like, you got to take a look at this and tell me what you see. And I look at it and I go, yeah, it's a German Shepherd sitting in a window. And you started laughing just like you are now. And you're like, yeah, do you know how many people said this was a demon? And I'm like, no, I can't believe anybody would say that's a demon. That's a freaking German Shepherd sitting in a window behind the screen. It could be something like that. Like maybe they took a selfie and maybe something like a dog in a window. You know what I'm saying? And they see it, but to them, their mind doesn't see it as the dog in the window. They see it as something that is, oh my God, this is, some horrible thing behind me that's going to kill me type of thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And
that's funny. I don't know why that just popped in my head, but that was a funny ass picture.
Oh, it was. And the thing is that it was posted specifically just to see if anybody would actually say that it was, some creature or demon,
right?
Or whatever.
Some demon or something in the window.
I mean, she absolutely knew that it was her dog in the screen door or whatever that was doing it, but she didn't tell anybody. She's just like, "What do you guys see in this photo?" And seriously, like the first
dozens of comments,
15 messages were like, "It's a demon," and even she's like, "That's my dog."
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
It was. So I mean, I have to take a look at it. So I mean, obviously, I don't think that you're going to hallucinate or anything a full black figure. So I mean, was something there more than likely? I guess it would again depend on the circumstances. Did you see a shadow of a tree? As a car went by. That sort of thing, and take it for that. I just think that this person is definitely freaking themselves out to like the nth degree. And so I guess there's a huge difference in not showing emotion and still having it. Like you can be their stone face, but if you're shivering in your boots internally, you're still putting out that energy.
Mm-hmm.
So
even more so, I think, because you're trying to mask it.
So I just think that you just need to calm down and see things for what they are. Contact a local or any sort of paranormal team, and that's what they're there for. They're there to help you, to give you answers, to advice, whatever you need. I guess give up on the thought that you're crazy. I don't think you're crazy at all. So I think maybe you're just misidentifying a whole shitload of things. All right. I don't have anything else.
No, I don't either.
All right. Number 2. Today, while in the restroom at my new job. I already like this one. So here we go. I began a new job 4 days ago at a bank that is established inside a 100-year-old building in the downtown area of my city. The entire top floor is full of cubicles that used to be the mortgage portion of the bank, but due to an economic collapse, the entire top floor is basically abandoned. The top floor now is mainly used as a lunch area. Today I went upstairs to use the restroom as everyone was working downstairs. The eerie stairwell leading up to the second floor was completely empty, as was the top floor. Not a person in sight. I went into the stall, and as I was using the stall, I heard a loud crash followed by a slight groan and light shuffling of footsteps going into the next stall. Mind you, it is a two-person stall. I do not hear anyone actually close the door or lock it for that matter, but I do hear light tapping, sort of like fingers tapping on a plastic surface. At this point, I'm freaked out and slightly trembling. I finally flush, step out of the stall, and walk towards the second stall, which is wide open. Absolutely no one was in the stall. But what I do see is that the trash can has been knocked over. I hurriedly wash my hands and quickly leave the restroom. I look around to see if anyone is there. Not a soul on the second floor. Well, that's a different way of, I think they could have phrased that a little differently. There could be tons of souls up there.
There could be.
But anyway, what happened? Could this place be haunted? So, I mean, I don't, obviously, I can understand how you'd be slightly upset and like, what, type of thing, like what just happened. Confused, maybe that's it. The best way of putting that. However, I honestly, as I read this, I took it fully as residual type energy that just came and went. I mean, even residual energy can physically affect, the living world, which is, why the trash can got knocked over. I mean, who knows how many times that thing had been knocked over before. That's it. I mean, I really don't have much more to say on this one. I just think that this is probably more of a residual type thing than it is intelligent, especially since it didn't really seem to interact with anybody. The only other thing that I would put forth, and this is again out of left field, and I honestly do not think that this is what happened, is that this is like an example of what the living experience when like spirits go at it. Not so much like in a sexual manner, but like if there's fighting or wars or anything that is going on behind the scenes that we are completely unaware of, that might play out that way. The thing that popped into my head after I'd read this was, the movie Ghost. And when, the two spirits are going at it, but they're almost accidentally like interfering and physically interacting with the living world as they're doing it. So, I mean, is that what happened? I have no flipping idea. More research would need to be done. An investigation would need to be done. I find it interesting, though. I mean, that's an interesting experience to have.
Mhm.
I'd be interested if anybody else had or has experienced anything like that besides you. But that's my take on it.
I think that it's possible that trash can could have already been knocked over, and they just heard the noise of it, like heard a loud crash, like you said, a residual type of sound, and not noticing that it might have been knocked over when they walked in. But I do have to share a story about this. So when we were at the Scottish Rite Temple, when we had the opportunity to investigate there, and we were getting the initial tour, you and I were getting that initial tour, and we're going through like this is the costume shop, and this is the makeup area, and this is the newer section. This is where we do this. This is the older part. There was a bathroom there, and I needed to go use the bathroom. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go in the older part because there's not going to be anybody over there, and I'll be away. I'll go do my thing and then come back. So I'm in there. I'm in one of the stalls. It's like this one. It's a 2-stall. There's a stall and then a stall, and then there was 2 urinals and there was a couple of wash sinks. And I'm in the bathroom. It's dead quiet, doing what I'm doing, and the door slowly opens. And I don't like it was almost like somebody was opening it like just so like this, like just ever so gingerly to peek in and see if somebody was in there. You know what I mean? Yeah, it wasn't the creepy squeaky noise, but you could hear it was opening, you know? And I'm like, okay, you know, maybe somebody's looking for me, or maybe, you know, wondering where I went to. That's fine. I didn't say anything. I'm like, I'll be done. You know, I'll be out in a couple of minutes anyway. So, but then the door closes and I hear shuffling. I hear footsteps walking in. Now, the interesting thing is, you know, if you're sitting in a stall, you've got the space where the door on one side and you got the space on the door on the other side. And they're not big spaces, but they're like this. And if you're in the stall sitting down and the lights are up above the wash sinks, you could clearly see somebody walk past. Well, nobody walked past, but I heard somebody walking past. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know. So I'm like, all right. I wait. I hear the exact same thing. I hear somebody shuffle into the next stall. I hear the door close, but not lock. And I don't hear any other noise. No knocking on the thing, no nothing. I finish up. I get done, flush, get out, wash my hands. I'm taking my time. Just for the hell of it, I got to know. I look down to see, I'm waiting to see a pair of legs sitting on the toilet in the stall next to me. And there's nothing there. So I'm thinking, okay, well, is that somebody playing a sick joke, and maybe they're standing on the toilet trying to scare somebody if they come in? So I put my hand on the top of the door and I swung it open real fast like I was going to scare them, and there was nobody there. But I clearly heard somebody come walking into that restroom, which was a very cool experience, personal experience, not documented, obviously. I wasn't in the bathroom to document things. And but I thought it was a really cool experience, and it kind of fits and goes hand in hand with this person's experience at this building, which I thought I thought it was kind of cool. First time I've seen something that kind of matched one of my experiences. That's why I chose that story.
And you know, based on the fact that I have 3 different EVPs of spirits having bodily functions.
Yeah.
Maybe it's possible that spirits really do still need to use the bathroom.
It could be. It definitely could be. I don't know, but I thought I thought this was a great story because it matched one of my personal experiences when we were over at Scottish Rite Temple, and that place was crazy active. Anyway, it was a fantastic location.
That place is amazing.
I mean, that was a fantastic location.
So
all right. So that's all I got on this one. I think it's residual as well. I agree with you. I would love to investigate this place. You know,
well,
I think it'd be cool. You know, it's a 100-year-old building downtown. Lock the bank up. There's nothing happening on the upper floors. There's just cubicles there, whatever. Lock up the main building. Let us have access to the 2nd and 3rd floor. It'd be a phenomenal investigation. You don't have to worry about anybody's personal stuff around, anything like that. And I'm sure it would probably be all residual, but it'd be fun to go and do something like that anyway. So, okay, let's move on. Spooky babysitting experience. My sister regularly babysits her boyfriend's nephew. He is 2 now and rapidly approaching 3. He's going through a phase that I'm sure many people are familiar with, picking random things up and presenting them to other people. He likes to say take and he can't get quite insistent. He is also going through some separation anxiety, and so he says back when people leave the room or the house. One day they're in the living room and he picks up a Frisbee and walks to the corner of the room and proudly presents it to thin air. Take, he yelled. Then he looks frustrated. Take. Then he really starts to get upset, shaking the Frisbee in front of him, stomping his feet and yelling, take, take. After a few moments, his head turns to the doorway leading to the hallway, and he toddles back in that direction until he's standing at the foot of the stairs. He starts crying, back, back, back. My sister whipped on his shoes and coat and immediately left the house, waiting hours until her boyfriend got home. So, did he really see something, or was he just playing around trying to scare my sister? That's one hell of a smart 2-year-old kid if he's playing a joke on your sister. First of all, I got to get that out of the way. Not trying to be an ass. I just got to get that out of the way. I don't know any 2 or 3-year-old child that's going to be pulling pranks. I think what was happening here is exactly what we talk about all the time, is that children have the ability to see things that we don't because they haven't been told that they don't exist. As we get older, we're told things don't exist. It's just our imagination. Go back to bed, blah, 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 whatever the hell you've been told. And so your mind starts to process things out that it doesn't need or considers to be wasteful. And it gets rid of that and frees up that space for some new information or some new experience to be able to go into that brain cell. I think that what he was doing was that somebody was standing in the room. He wasn't scared. He thought maybe it was a grandparent or a loved one, somebody who had passed that was just back at the house watching out, or just coming through to make sure that everything was going okay, or coming back to see their grandchild. Maybe they never got to see him while they were alive. And he was there just sharing his Frisbee, and then obviously saw them leave and started crying, yelling back, 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 because he saw them going away and he didn't want them to go away. If it was something scary, I highly doubt that he'd be yelling back, back, back. He'd probably be crying and run to his babysitter. So I think it was just a loved one that came into the house, somebody that he wanted to play with, somebody that he wanted to interact with. He couldn't, whatever. They started to leave, or they left going that direction. He runs back after him and tries to get him to come back. Normal response that your sister whipped his shoes and coat on and hauled ass out of the house. I don't blame her for doing that one bit. I'm assuming she's fairly young herself still, so I can see how that would scare the hell out of anybody who was unaccustomed to seeing something paranormal and then seeing something like this happen right in front of them. So I don't think he was playing around trying to scare anybody. I think he really did see something and interact with something.
Yeah. When I read that last question of, is he trying to scare myself? I'm like, a 2-year-old is not even going to have an idea of what being scared really even means, let alone to try and set up this prank
right.
to scare her.
Right.
If he was like 9, then yeah, maybe.
Oh,
but
9 or 10, that'd be a good prank.
But 2, no, not even close.
No.
They're not even going to know what a prank is.
No.
So I mean, I've always believed, same as you, that kids are able to see things that we can't. I actually had one of my first home cases under Odyssey was a case that involved a 2-year-old, and he kept calling them the people, and he would say things like the people hurt me, or the people yelled at me, and stuff like that. So I mean, it wasn't a good experience, but that was all he was really saying. And we were able to turn everything around, which was an amazing case for me. But 2-year-olds can definitely see, and they can understand that maybe something isn't particularly right. I agree with you. It's probably a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
Again with the corner. It's always the corner. They're always standing in the corner.
Right.
I don't understand why.
It's a corner, top of the stairs, the basement, the attic. It's never just sitting on the couch in the living room.
No, and I mean, and I don't know if that's because they just want to stay out of everybody's way and observe.
Closet.
Yeah.
Get out of the goddamn closets. As I'm telling all the spirits right now. If you are just going to check on your grandchild, don't show up going through the closet. I don't care how beautiful a smile you have on your face and what your intentions are. Do not show up through the closet to go see your grandkids while they're sleeping.
Agreed.
Use the freaking door and walk in. Or something. Or don't even go in the room while they're sleeping, for crying out loud. Wait until they're awake, playing and having fun. But don't use the closet.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So I mean, I I agree with you. There's obviously nothing scary about this. I mean, he literally wanted the person to take the frisbee.
Yeah.
He wanted the person to come back when they left. And if anything, they probably left because they saw that they were upsetting him.
Could
You
be.
know, it's one of those things like I can't take the frisbee.
Right.
Like I literally can't. And so I mean, I'd better leave before he gets really upset. And then it's like, no, come back.
Right.
So whereas I agree that the sister's reaction to that is fairly normal and typical.
Oh yeah.
Don't think that was really necessary for that situation, but very understandable reaction.
I would bet if it happened again, she would probably take a deep breath before she thought about like, I better get the hell out of here.
What I was really hoping to read as I was reading that story was that all of a sudden his hands like fell down, the frisbee was just hanging there and like somebody had actually grabbed it.
Like somebody.
I was really hoping that would be part of the story, but nope. Oh well,
That'd be pretty cool.
it would have been pretty cool. That would have made somebody run out of the house.
That would make me run and get a freaking camera or something as fast as I could, or get my cell phone out or whatever, man. I'd be like, where the hell's all my equipment? Everything's in boxes. Damn it. I'd be all running around the house like an idiot.
The second that you even grabbed your phone, that frisbee would fall to the floor.
It would be laying on the floor, and there'd be all the energy in the house would be completely at a zero. Yeah. Well, you know that for a fact. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, of course.
It'd be a great personal experience, but that's all it would be.
I agree. All right. So, number 4, grief-induced nightmares or something more sinister? All right, here we go. I've had some rather vivid and terrifying nightmares that have led me to waking up in fear. These nightmares started a day or two after learning about my great-grandfather's death. But these nightmares don't seem to be correlated to that in any other way than the timing, and something feels very off about them. See, I'm a big horror fan, and usually I see nightmares, as long as they aren't deeply personal or trauma related, as a free horror movie and simply entertaining. So the level of fear these pretty short nightmares has put me in is very out of the ordinary. So the first nightmare. I was lying in bed at my old house, and my ex-boyfriend and I were trying to get to sleep when I heard clattering in the kitchen. I asked him to check, but he blew it off as nothing. I was annoyed, but decided to blow it off too and continue to try to sleep. Shortly after that, my cat shows up in the bedroom doorway, and we both address her and how she must have been the one making the noise. This is when we realize the cat in the doorway is not actually our cat, but we see our cat is now waking up at the end of the bed. As soon as we realize this, our cat's doppelganger in the doorway starts to float into the air and contort. This is also when I realize we are not all alone in the bedroom. I turn towards the open door and see facing into the corner behind the door a tall figure. I notice the brown fur, the hooves, the thin tail, and then finally the horns. It doesn't move or make any noise, but I felt the need to start aggressively, silently praying. I continued doing this for a minute before I start trying to pray out loud. It came out strained and was a struggle to keep my thoughts straight, let alone get the prayers out. This is when the dream ended and I shot awake. The backstory for Nightmare 2 is actually the experience I tell people is my quote-unquote proof the paranormal exists. When I was around 8 years old, I was sleeping in my parents' bed one night when I woke up to the feeling of being watched. You could say I was still asleep, and that's fair, but I'm not sure I'd ever felt as awake as when I saw it. I looked up towards where I felt I was being watched from, and floating towards the ceiling, staring down at me, was a pale girl with long dark hair and a white dress. I remember pulling the blankets up over my head and closing my eyes tight until I fell back asleep. With that in mind, the latest nightmare. I was laying asleep in my current bedroom when a small, pale girl with long dark hair in a white dress walked slowly around my bed. She was giggling like a child. She got to the side of the bed where my current boyfriend was sleeping next to me. She slowly reached over him and brushed a very cold, small hand against the back of my neck, and an almost happy, childlike voice says, "Hi again." This is when I woke up and pulled the blankets over my head and kept my eyes shut until I fell back into a very fitful sleep. Can anyone give me some opinions or advice on these nightmares? Again, maybe it's some bizarre way of my brain dealing with grief, but it just feels so threatening. Uh, I don't think either of these nightmares have anything to do with your grief. Um, they just don't seem to be grief induced nightmares. They seem to be your probably your subconscious trying to either tell you something or and then taking your, I guess, love for horror and spinning it. uh I think that, I mean, I don't have anything to say about the cat. I mean,
I can't believe it.
because that's just duh. Of course, there's like a doppelganger and it twists and contorts and floats in the air. That's what cats do. All right. But yeah, I got nothing. I honestly got nothing on the cats. But um, I don't think either of these nightmares are actually paranormally based. I mean, I think maybe, when was the last time you saw The Ring? Uh, I don't know how old you are currently or when you got into your horror phase. Maybe you had seen The Ring when you were 8, um,
Well, old
something
enough
like
that her
that.
boyfriend's sleeping over, and it's the ex-boyfriend.
Well, yeah, but she was talking about.
So
I mean, yeah,
a
obviously,
young woman, I would say, by like in her 20s, early 20s, maybe, would be
right.
my
So I
guess.
mean, right. I mean, the Ring came out a long time ago.
Yeah,
Um, so I
still a creepy
mean,
movie.
well, yeah, exactly. But I mean, I honestly don't think either of these nightmares are being influenced by some sort of evil force. Um, I think the coincidence. I mean, I guess it would also depend on your relationship with your great grandfather. I mean, not a lot of people are old enough to even have a great, grandfather or whatever, at least to remember him.
Right.
I mean, if you did, great. I mean, that's amazing. Um, but I mean, I guess it all depends on the kind of relationship you had. I mean, if horror movies was something that you and your great grandfather both cherished and talked about a lot, and you had conversations about demons and horned things and contorting cats, and especially like the little girl. I mean, all of this stuff, maybe his passing brought all this back up into your mind. And then your nightmares are, even though you don't even consider really nightmares. Um, free
A
horror
free horror
movies.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a free horror movie. Um, so I mean, I wouldn't worry about. I mean, if it continues to happen, then you know, I would change my mind. But if those are the only two that you have, and depends on what your surrounding environment is, I think that it's just your brain, um, either trying to keep your great grandfather close. So maybe, I guess maybe it is grief a little bit. But if you really didn't have that kind of relationship with your grandfather, I think it's probably just you.
I would agree with that. I totally get the Ring vibe for the second nightmare thing. Um, and the first one to me, that just sounds like a normal nightmare. Like I don't see anything special about that nightmare at all. Seeing something that you think is the devil in your room, that's not like an unusual nightmare. That, you know, I don't think so anyway. And I personally don't think it is. But this is what I'm kind of with you. I don't see anything. I don't see this being related to the great grandfather's death in any way, shape, or form. The thing that I will say about this though is I would like to interview this person. So just on a whim, if this person's listening to this show, and you're jumping up and down going, this is my story, contact us. And because I would like to interview, because I would like to know how, when you are sleeping and your brain starts to engage in a nightmare, that you are consciously able to view that as simply entertaining and a free horror movie, and not have what every other person on the planet Earth does, which is to be shitting their pants, running for their lives, trying to get out of that nightmare. So somehow this person has the ability, if this is true, I'm just taking this in verbatim, they have the ability to separate themselves like they're watching it on a movie screen, is how my brain processes what they're saying. You couldn't possibly be in the nightmare, fighting for your existence, fighting for your life, and then find that to be entertaining, unless you're really demented, I guess. And again, I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm just saying, so somehow you would have to be distanced from your nightmare that you were engaged in. So you're watching it happen, but you know that it's not a nightmare. It's just a horror movie, a free horror movie, like they said, and that it's entertaining for you. I am dying to know. As a matter of fact, I'm going to save this one, and the next time we have Kristen Lumen on, I am going to bring this up and see what she says about that, because I find that to be extremely interesting. And and she's going to be coming back on here sometime this year, because we're going to talk about near-death experiences with her. So I'm going to tag this one and save this and talk to her about this and see what she says about it. I find that to be extremely interesting. But I agree with you, Mike. I don't see anything here that is sinister. I don't even see that it's grief-induced. I mean, unless you had, like Mike said, unless you had a really great relationship with your great-grandfather, I'm sorry. I mean, if you just knew that he existed, but you never spent any time with him, and then he passed, which great-grandfathers, great-grandmothers, they're going to pass because they're already old. I don't see why you would have maybe more than a day's worth of grief anyway, to be honest. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's just her mind enjoying nightmares, and so it's just materializing them as frequently as possible somehow. I don't know. Be interesting to find out, though. I mean, this would be an interesting case study type of thing. If she truly can somehow enjoy a nightmare, that's very odd. I don't think honestly, in all the years I've been doing this, I don't think I've ever heard anything like that before. So,
well, I mean, if she enjoys it, is it really even a nightmare?
Well, right. Then again, right. It could just be a dream to her, right? And then to what would be a nightmare for you or I or somebody down the road, for her, it's just a dream, right? Because how could you even classify it as a nightmare?
Exactly.
Because the term nightmare in and of itself is a dream that causes you an extreme stressful situation where your heart starts racing, you start sweating, your pulse starts racing. Obviously, none of that's happening in her case.
Nope. So, all right. Next one.
I needed to get a drink. All right. So, number 5, all clocks in my house stopped at the same time. Debunk this. I like that. This happened less than a year ago, and everyone in my family still remembers it. One day, we woke up to find that almost all the clocks in our house had stopped exactly at 4:30 a.m. Most were battery-powered wall clocks, but also my parents' electric alarm clock also displayed said time as well. To be exact, I believe it was a total of 4 battery-powered wall clocks. My parents' alarm clock and the microwave also said the same time. Is there a plausible explanation of this? If they were all electrical, I would think it was a power cut, but most of them were battery-powered. This is one of the few things in my life I can't rationally explain. I have an explanation for you, and you're going to absolutely love it. Your whole entire family was transported by aliens. That is a total, absolutely 100% indicative happening of aliens showing up at your house for an alien abduction episode, where everything just boom, just stops. They drain out, everything just stops. All the electronics stop, so your parents' electric alarm clock, the microwave, and then all the battery powered clocks got sucked dry, all the batteries died at the same time. That is totally your whole family had an experience. Again, regression therapy. If you can afford it, go and find a good regression therapist and have them take you back in time to that day, and have them take every person in the family who was in the house back in time to that day, and see if all of a sudden you guys don't have some sort of memories that start creeping in about seeing a white light and little guys that were shadowed and laying on a table where they had these instruments above you that you'd never seen before, and looking over and seeing them performing experiments on your mom. I'm totally going UFO on this. So,
the only explanation that I had, period, is some sort of EMP pulse, that shut down all circuitry and everything. But that is technically what one might experience if aliens show up. Right. I did not go there, but as soon as you mention it, I'm like, that's plausible. Although usually when it comes to time, usually like the clocks are all of a sudden 3 hours later. That
right.
It's the person that loses time and not so much the clocks.
Well, see, to that point though, they woke up to find out that the clocks had stopped at 4:30. That doesn't mean that the abduction took place at 4:30. Right.
That's fair.
It's just that that's the time that was on everything when they woke up. And why would everybody in the house be waking up at 4:30 unless they're coming back from some type of experience? That would be odd. If there's 3 or 4 people in the house, not everybody wakes up at 4:30 on the button and starts looking around at the clocks. Why would you even look at the clocks? Right.
Now, I don't know. I don't think that when he said, we woke up to find that almost all the clocks in our house had stopped exactly at 4:30 a.m. I don't think that he's saying that they all woke up at 4:30 a.m.
Right.
I
Maybe
think they
not.
just,
right. Maybe they got up at 9 and all of a sudden every clock was at 4:30. Right.
Yeah. And they noticed that all the clocks were at 4:30. Which again, especially for like the microwave or the electrical clock, if it's a power cut and then the power comes back on, they start at noon or 12.
They would flash, right?
And then they start to count up from there.
Right.
So I mean, if they woke up 3 hours or 4.5 hours after the power cut, then it would say 4:30. But
true, but then it would continue to keep going though.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
If it was a true power cut,
right,
and then the power came back on, it would just continue to go. It wouldn't stop.
Right.
I can get behind the alien idea. I guess again, you would have to know: have there been strange sightings in your area? Has anybody else reported seeing or experiencing anything weird? Has the clock thing really happened before?
Do you got a little blue kernel of rice in your arm?
Oh, Probably not.
Just saying. We know
I
somebody
know.
who does.
I know. And we do need to get her back on the show.
We do need to get her back on the show.
It's time for another episode of Random Shit with Dana Mitchell.
It certainly is. Springtime's here. It's time to find out how she's doing.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, honestly, beyond that, I think it's odd that the only rational explanation that we can have for this, you were abducted by aliens.
I have absolutely no other direction to go with this.
I know.
None whatsoever. If you could give me one plausible reason why 4 battery-powered wall clocks would all stop at the exact same time, I'm listening. But other than some sort of incredible energy surge that drained all 4 batteries simultaneously, I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got absolutely zero. So it wasn't a ghost. It wasn't a demon. It has nothing to do with anything like a spirit. So then my mind has to go to the next thing that's in the paranormal. Well, could it plausibly be an encounter with an alien life form? Could it be an abduction case? It made sense. So,
yeah. All right. Last one. Blue orb near my son. I co-sleep with my son, who is almost 3. Today, in the early morning, I felt him moving. The back of his head was pointed to me. When I opened my eyes, there was a blue orb of light on the back of his head. I did not feel it was negative. What's everyone's thinking about what it could be? So, I mean, there's not much it can be. I mean, it's in blue orb. You felt him moving. Hold on a second. When I opened my eyes, there was a blue light in the back of his head. I guess my question is, what time of day was it? Was the sun shining or whatever?
Early morning, it said.
Early morning. So, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, what if was the sun up, or was it just coming up? Could it be?
Assuming it was early, yeah, like sunrise was, sky was orange, kind of thing, like it is in early morning.
Right. So, I mean, could we have been seeing some sort of reflection of something? The sun coming in through a window. You always get that rainbow type of look. I mean, you're just opening your eyes. Sometimes your eyes have trouble focusing. Mm-hmm. I guess I don't. If you don't think it's negative, I certainly don't think it's negative. It's a blue orb. Everybody knows how much I love orbs. It could very well simply be, I don't know if your mother or whatever has passed. His grandmother could simply have been a relative, a guardian angel, a spirit guide, whatever, just coming to visit him. I mean, all an orb is a ball of energy.
Right.
I mean, your son could have been putting that off himself.
If he was still sleeping, he certainly could have been.
So, I mean, I definitely wouldn't worry about it. It doesn't seem like you're worried about it. You're just kind of curious. But yeah, I would just kind of chalk that up to an interesting experience. And if it continues to happen, well, then, we can look into to further answers and what that might happen. But if it's just the once, I would chalk it up to an interesting experience and move on with life.
Yeah, I would too. The only thing I have to add to that is that traditionally, blue orbs of light are representative of the archangels. So, I mean, maybe, who knows, but maybe the kid's not feeling good. Maybe he was sick. He's healing from a COVID, who knows, right? And something was there to protect him. That's kind of what I got out of it. I've never seen a blue orb of light be negative. I can tell you that. So, and truthfully, I haven't seen very many blue orbs. I've seen blue orbs, but not Not a whole lot of them. A couple of them in the cemetery. Some green ones, some blue ones. That one that big violet colored one. Some orange ones. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you. I think it was just a loved one checking in on him. And that's just how, because they come in peace, light blue is kind of a very peaceful color. I just think it all correlates together beautifully. I think it was just somebody there who was caring and was just visiting, making sure the kid was okay. Maybe they just wanted to see you and your son laying in bed, sleeping, mother and son laying in bed, sleeping. It's a beautiful thing. So.
Agreed. All righty. Well, I mean, that takes care of our stories right on time, I might add. Go us.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So I agree. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with our topic for hour 2, things that make us go, So we'll be right back here after some wonderful promos from our great guests over the years. See you on the other side.
Hey, this is Grant Wilson from Ghost Hunters, and if you ever have time that you never want to get back, spend it listening to Mike and Dave on the Odyssey Files.
Hey, everybody, it's Chad Lindbergh, and you are listening to the Odyssey Files with David and Michael. And let me tell you, it's almost as painful as a Skype glitch.
I am Chuck Zukowski from UFOnut.com and Alien Highway. I thought I was the only UFO nut until I met Mike and Dave with the Odyssey Files. They're a lot crazier than I am.
Hello, I'm Al Lagarde from Paper Route Productions, executive producer of Kindred Spirits, Paranormal State, a whole bunch of television shows. And I've worked with a lot of people on paranormal projects and met a lot of people in paranormal radio. And I want to say that Dave and Mike are two people who have a face for radio, in particular, internet radio.
Hey, it's Chris Fleming. More painful than a Tyrannosaurus Rex stepping on your testicle. Listen to Dave and Mike on Odyssey Files.
This is Elizabeth Saint. You know, in my journeys, I've confronted an over 1,000-year-old demon from the depths of Shepherdstown. But then, you know what happened? I came across Mike and Dave. And hot damn, nothing could have prepared me for the Odyssey Files. My second favorite radio show. I love you guys.
And we are back.
It's always going to be one of my faves.
Agreed.
It's just, that's one of those rare moments you just never gonna, that moment will never ever happen again. All juiced up on cough syrup, fighting a cold, comes on the show. Just a rare moment for her and a very fun show. If you have not listened to that show, it's in the archives. It really was a really good show.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good, fun conversation and some important stuff too. But it was very lighthearted, not too serious. You could sit down and enjoy it and get a good laugh and learn something at the same time. So
exactly, and Elizabeth is always awesome. So, all right, so hour 2, we have our things that make you go. Now, these do not. We just wanted to have fun with this. And so most of these are not even going to be paranormally based. It's just to kind of have a few laughs, throw some maybe some interesting thoughts out there, maybe something here and there that you've never thought of before or didn't think was, or when we throw it out there, you're like, you know what? Yeah, what is with that? That sort of thing. So, Dave, do you want to go first?
No, I want you to go first. I went first
sure.
With the story, so I'm gonna defer to you.
All right.
Don't hit me with your good thought-provoking one.
No, that's
right
last.
Off the bat. Okay, I was gonna say, don't hit me with that one first.
No. That one's gonna be last. That one is actually paranormally based.
Oh, all right.
So, okay, here's my first one, and it didn't even occur to me until very recently, and so. As listeners, recent listeners of the show know, I have gotten a second job as a delivery person, and so I am in the truck for most of the day. So I have a flash drive that plugs into my radio and plays MP3s all day. So I don't have to hear commercials and radio DJs and blah, blah, blah. And one of the songs that I grew up with and I've loved since I was a kid is I Want to Sex You Up by Color Me Bad. And that, I don't know, it's just fun to sing. It's a really fun song.
I agree.
Despite, the fact of, the whole I Want to Sex You Up. And for whatever reason, I was listening to the lyrics. And it didn't dawn on me until recent that one of the lyrics is, we can do it till we both wake up. Which doesn't make any sense, because shouldn't they be awake? So have I been completely wrong my entire life, and this song is about like having a wet dream? Or two people having a wet dream together? Because it seems to be that they're asleep while this song is going on. We can do it until we both wake up.
Maybe they mean wake up in a different context than actual physical awakening. Like maybe they mean wake up like sensuality or sexuality.
That doesn't make any sense. They're already having sex.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's sensuous. There's a difference between having sex and making love.
Right. No, I got that. So you think that we can do it until we both wake up is we can F like bunnies until we learn how to love each other.
I think it's equally as plausible as we both are having simultaneous wet dreams while we're sleeping.
I'm just saying. It makes you think.
That's all I'm saying. I think
maybe
it's as plausible.
Maybe this song is not about what we thought it was. And it's about deeper connection because you're doing it while you're asleep.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if...
What are you typing in?
We're getting a response that says, ooh, I have so many comments about I want to sex you up. I'll keep them to myself. So I just responded to that. I don't know. I'm going to run with whatever you want to run with on this one.
All I'm saying, it makes you think.
It does make you think.
Maybe we've had it wrong this entire time. And that one line is the key, the trap door, so to speak, of figuring out what the song is really about.
So maybe while we're sleeping, we have the best sex of our lives. And then all of a sudden, when it hits that crescendo, that incredible moment for both of you simultaneously, you wake up and you're like, why am I all sweaty? What do you
happens all the time for me. I'm saying.
I'm leaving that one alone with a 20-foot pole.
I just meant wake up sweaty. That's all. That's what I mean.
Okay. All right.
Wake up sweaty.
I got you.
So
okay. You're right.
Anyway. All right. So
okay.
That was my first one.
Okay. Well, I've got one that I think you're going to like, and I think a lot of people are going to find this to be extremely interesting. Something that's brand new at a new Disney attraction that is opening up. Well, it did open up beginning of March of this year. Is Disney's new $6,000 Star Wars immersive experience. The force may not be so strong in the pricey attraction that costs about $6,000 for a family of four, with the special suite running up to $20,000, but it guarantees an out-of-world experience. So Disney is opening up, is in its pre-opening phase for its Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser immersive two-night experience. It says there's no debating the fact that it's an expensive ride or hotel stay. An average family of four pays $6,000 for the experience, which includes lodging, meals, and entertainment. Does not include alcoholic drinks. Beers run about $13.50, and it doesn't include anything from the gift shop. But here's the concept behind it, and I found this to be very interesting. The Galactic Star Cruiser experience is that you're boarding, well, a Star Wars Star Cruiser, specifically the Halcyon, which is billed by Disney as a vessel known for its impeccable service and exotic destinations. The ship is really a hotel with 100 cabins, but those who have been aboard noted that you do get a galaxy view because all of the windows are video monitors. There's not a single window in the whole entire place that looks outside. So all of the windows are actual video monitors, and throughout the whole entire experience, as you're playing, and I'll get into that in a second, as you're playing your experience on the vessel, going to different planets with the people from Star Wars, all of that view is outside of your cabin windows, which happens to be monitors that look like real windows, which is extremely cool. I looked at the pictures of them and I was like, okay, not $6,000 cool, but pretty damn cool. During this experience, there's a whole range of Star Wars characters, Chewbacca, Kylo Ren, etc. You get to hang out at a space-age bar, dubbed the Sublight Lounge, and eat all sorts of food with an out-of-this-world theme, including blue shrimp. The experience also includes a visit to Galaxy's Edge Star Wars attraction to the Walt Disney World Studios theme park. I'm going to bypass what they had to say about it. But here's what I thought was interesting. The minute that you go in and you get into your room, you're given something that reminds me more of like a Star Trek tablet, like a two-way radio, that little
the flip.
The little flip thing. Yeah. Every single thing that you decide to do, once you're logged in, every single thing you decide to do takes you on a path. Every time you walk out of your room, your decision of what you do next leads you to different parts of this hotel with all these other people in all these other cabins. And so you start teaming up either as good guys, bad guys, or scoundrels. And then the whole entire game plays itself out over the course of 2 days to where you're either taking a journey, you could do droid racing, you can learn how to play in the band, you can, I forget what else they had in there, lightsaber fighting techniques, phaser shooting technique, all this like cool Star Wars stuff. They said if you're a Star Wars fan, this is like the ultimate experience. Now here's where my comes into play. We're just coming off of COVID. The world has been shut down for basically a year and a half. And Disney rolls out something that costs $6,000 to $20,000 for a family of 4 for 2 nights. I just don't see the timing here. This is one of those, I wonder who the marketing person is that thought that rolling out something that costs $6,000 for a family of 4 thought it was a good time to do it right on the cusp of COVID. And we're really not still over it, honestly, because the new variant Frankenstein or whatever's out now.
Is that what it's called? I don't know.
Yeah. It's like JA2B or JAB2 Frankenstein, Omicron Frankenstein. I'm like, whatever. Who's naming this shit? Next, it's going to be like the creature from the Black Lagoon and then Dracula. And so, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
it is a cool thing.
I guess it's a cool I guess experience, maybe. I don't know. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's worth $6,000 for 2 days. I think that it's cool that, you look like you're on the ship. When you look out the window, you see stars or you see planets or whatever is going on. I think that's cool. I agree. Not $6,000, cool, but there are definitely people out there with money still, who are going to, they're going to cash in some stocks and they're going to go. It's going to be one of those like graduation presents, or one of those once a year trips. Is they'll do it. I don't know. They'll sell one of their kidneys. Maybe they'll start selling drugs. You don't know. I don't know. But there are some.
Sell one of the kids. We're a family of 5. We can't fit in that cabin. We're gonna do the straw thing. You kids know the straw thing? Short straw. One of you is going up on the open market so we can pay for the trip for the other 4 of us.
Yeah,
that's a horrible thing to say, but it's a joke. People, don't send any hate mail.
Yeah, all hate mail can be sent to the Calling Radio Show, care of Jerry Ayers and Kim Juarez.
Yep.
They take care of all that for us.
They take care of that. Yep.
But sorry, Timmy, you didn't make the cut. You're gonna go become a Johnson. So the rest of this, the rest of the Stevens family
can party our asses off at Walt Disney World on the Star Wars cruiser
for 2 days.
For 2 days. I would go. I'm telling you what, if the price comes down to like $3,000, $2,000, seriously, I would probably do it if I had the extra money. Right? I'm not going to break my bank to do it, but it sounds like it would be cool as hell to do.
So it's $6,000 for a family of 4, right?
Right. Yeah.
So how much is it per person?
Well, they book it per room, and it depends if the room can sleep 4. Then it's $6,000 for one person, or it's $6,000 for 4 people. That's the way Disney economics works.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, the only thing that makes me go, is I agree. Why would they think that this was a really good idea?
Right.
For that amount of money.
Right.
But I would pay $800 for the Millennium Falcon Lego set. So, who am I to say anything? But then again, I can take apart and put together the Millennium Falcon every day for the next 3 years. It's not a 2-day thing. So I get far more money out of it than anything. Plus, I think a lot of people are going to spend most of their time taking selfies than doing anything Star Wars based. Yeah, your microphone is still on.
I would be at the bar eating blue shrimp, having a couple of $13.50 beers, and then like seeing whether I was going to be a scoundrel. I would definitely do the lightsaber training thing, and I would do the droid racing thing. That would be cool. Here's what I got to say. I got to imagine, honestly, like when we, what the hell was it? The Mars Lander ride that they did, the space thing
rover?
that they did. Yeah, the one that they did where it was like really interactive. I did that. I'm telling you what, they know what the hell they're doing when they create rides, because it feels when you climb into that cockpit, it's 4-person cockpit, all 4, you have all these controls in front of you, and everybody is responsible for doing something in order to make the mission work. So if there's somebody down at the end isn't doing anything, everybody else is staring at them like, get engaged, But that ride, when we got off that ride, it felt like I took a trip to Mars. It was that realistic. And it's like a 12-minute ride. It's pretty damn amazing. It's a pretty damn amazing ride. You walk out of there and you're like, that was cool as hell. So if this hotel is anything like that, even remotely like that, the fact that there's not a window in the place, but every time you walk past the window, you see into outer space, and you see into kind of Star Wars world outer space. I don't know, man. After being in there for a couple hours, you'd be like feeling like you were on a spaceship, I think.
Maybe.
Which would be that would be extremely cool.
Maybe. I mean, I guess I would want to
go look the pictures. Go look up pictures of it. Not right now, but I mean, like for people who are listening, and for you later, if you want, whatever. Like they've got like the Chewbacca character looks just like Chewie. So do the other characters. They don't look like they're like some generic version of Chewie. I mean, it looks like it's Chewie, and you can hang out with Chewie and be on his team. And I'm like, okay, me and Chewie are hanging out, man, and we're gonna go droid racing.
And he just has to it's just to make sure that Chewie buys the first couple rounds.
Exactly, he makes more than I do. Chewie, you're buying the first couple beers, buddy.
All right, so we are sticking with Disney.
Oh, sweet.
So I have recently, in the last couple of months, had another childhood thought process completely destroyed. And that is, I have found out that Bambi is a dude. Apparently, Bambi is a male deer, not a female deer. So, what gets me mean is if Bambi is a dude, why are all like female strippers named Bambi?
You're on a theme tonight, man.
I am. So, but this is the last one. This is the last one. So
Okay.
I'm just saying is that you never go to like Chippendales and hear the announcer go, "Here we have Fabian, the sexy fireman. Look at him. Look at his abs. Here's Dalton, our sexy little cowboy. And oh, look, here's Bambi, our sexy cop." Like, you never hear that. You're never going to hear that. And you shouldn't, because that's terrible.
Probably never going to hear that. I agree.
So here is what I think happened. And this is a Disney backstory that they don't want you to know. I think that Bambi originally, in the beginning of the movie, is in fact a female deer. But deer are stupid. And so at some point in the movie, they screwed up and they thought that another deer, a male deer, was the real Bambi. And then as he grew up and got horns or antlers, sorry, not horns, antlers, that all of a sudden Bambi was now a guy deer. I think that is what happened, but now I'm completely ruined. So, boy, you need to mute your notifications there, Dave. not your microphone.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, yeah. Well,
never mind. Forget it.
It's okay.
Anyways.
All right. So first of all, I just got to say quickly.
Okay.
From what I've been told at strip clubs, not every stripper is named Bambi.
Well, no, not everyone.
There's a lot of Porsches and a lot of diamonds.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of crystals.
Chastity.
Or crystals.
Crystal.
Yes. From what I've been told, those are more popular names at strip clubs.
I wouldn't know either. I've been to one once for a bachelor party, and that is it. I couldn't care less about strip clubs, but all I know is that if I am ever, and this is why it's ruined everything for me, because this has been in my mind. I know that if I am ever there again, for a bachelor party or whatever, and all of a sudden, the girl sits down in my lap for whatever reason, and she says, "Hi, my name is Bambi." The only thing that's ever going to come out of my mouth is, "I was sorry to hear about your mother." which is probably not going to keep the mood going. But you know, what do you expect?
Jesus. All right, so here's all I got to say on that one. maybe just on some weird ass occurrence, she's on the same wavelength as you and gets the joke right off the bat. right from the get-go. And then you guys are like best buddies the whole rest of the night. And you're getting free lap dances until 3 a.m.
It'll never be free, but that's okay. So I don't mind supporting working women. So whatever. Anyway, but yeah, Bambi, if you didn't know, is a dude.
He has a very effeminate voice when he's younger.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Deer obviously don't go through puberty in the same way humans do.
Probably not.
I have never seen the movie. So maybe that is why
it's a tearjerker.
I get that. Maybe, yeah. And I think that's why I don't want to see Bambi's mom die. Spoiler alert, in case you haven't.
Thanks for ruining it for half of me. Half of America.
But I'm just saying, maybe that's why I've not seen it. But I was shocked to find that out, because apparently does have very long eyelashes.
They do.
And
well, you should have known that from watching Santa Claus is Coming to Town, because clearly the does had really long eyelashes.
Or all not does, because it was a dude. And I never used the word dude, but
dude.
I'm so upset at this revelation that I have been wrong for years and years and years and years and years and years, that I only want to call him a dude deer.
Dude deer.
A dude deer.
There you go.
But I think, or since this is modern times, Bambi had a sex change. Sex change Bambi.
There you go. A little transgender going on. There you go.
Thank you, Disney. You just showed again how
rolling with the times. Well, here's the scary thing about Disney, man. Talk about a company then that can foreshadow shit, right? Because I think Bambi was made like 1926 or something like that. So, I mean, yeah. So talk about a company that's way ahead of times. All right. So are we done?
That's all I had.
Okay. So I am going to bring this up as kind of a public service announcement and also a what the hell. There is a thing out right now that is called Huggy Wuggy. Have you heard of this at all, Mike?
I hate it already.
Okay. So Huggy Wuggy is in a game that is based, you have to be 12 years old or older to play it type of thing, blah, blah, blah. All right. It's a survival horror game that's called Poppy Playtime. And in the game, players play as a former employee revisiting an abandoned toy factory where employees have vanished without a trace. And then obviously, as a game like this would progress, the player navigates through a first-person perspective and has to solve puzzles to progress further while avoiding various enemies, such as Huggy Wuggy, a blue bear-like character with razor-sharp teeth. Huggy Wuggy and other toys stalk players in the abandoned toy factory. All right. Video game is rated for children ages 12 and above. The reason I bring this up is this, and I'm just going to kind of read it verbatim here. Law enforcement officials warn that some fan-made videos featuring the characters start out with very child-friendly visuals that quickly turn nightmarish, so younger children may access them without realizing their true nature. The videos include, but are not limited to, offensive language, cartoon representations of alcohol use, blood, stabbings, decapitations, attempted murder, and the bloody aftermath of a car crash. In one video, the sheriff's office quoted a character as saying, "My hugs don't hurt one bit. You'll be dead before the pain comes." In another video, the sheriff's office says a female character is drugged and sexually assaulted. In the same video, the female character's husband sees the video of the sexual assault and believes the female character has committed adultery. The male character then hits the female character and divorces her. Officials stress that the videos cannot be accessed through YouTube Kids. However, these videos that we just talked about were some of the very first ones that show up in a search for Huggy Wuggy on YouTube. After the sheriff's official posted the warning on Facebook, many parents said their children had stumbled upon the videos and were experiencing nightmares. My 6-year-old son recently started being scared of the dark out of the blue. He finally told me it was videos he had seen that had scared him. I couldn't get any details out of him, but maybe it was this character because I seen him watching stuff on my cell phone with this Huggy Wuggy, one mother commented. Same with mine. I didn't know until I heard a couple of weeks ago people talking about Huggy Wuggy, and I looked it up, and they are terrified to even see his picture. My daughter hasn't been able to sleep in her room since. So here's my moment of, what kind of parenting are you doing that you're letting your 6-year-old child watch shit like that on your phone? And that's where I'm leaving it. What parents are so irresponsible that they let their 6-year-old child, 6-year-old kids watch some horrific shit like that on YouTube without supervising it?
I get your point.
Oh, yeah.
But my unbelievableness is who develops a game like this and makes it for 12-year-olds.
Now, I have not played it, but I totally agree with you. This should be something that's like for 15 or 16 starting age.
Okay, go over that list again of murder, decapitation, attempted murder. No, I was being sarcastic.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. It was cartoon representations, alcohol abuse, blood, stabbings, decapitations, attempted murder, the bloody aftermath of a car crash.
A car crash, right. And then there's videos.
Sexually assaulted, drugged and sexually assaulted. The husband thinks it's adultery, and then he beats her up and divorces her.
And you think that that's 15 and 16?
No. The game. These are videos that are being created by people using this character. And they're starting off real innocent. And then they're taking him down this dark path. That's what's happening. So these are like YouTube. The F was that? Holy crap, that was loud. These are YouTubers that are creating these things that are luring these kids in, and then they have this horrific ending, like these 3-minute videos.
Okay, so that's not actually
still
in the
parents.
Game.
No.
Okay, see, I thought that they were.
You do get killed. You could get killed in the game.
Well, sure.
If you saw a picture of this dude, he's got this like evil smile. And when you open his mouth, he's like a stuffed puppet. When you open his mouth, it's just the demonic razor rows of teeth that just keep spiraling down.
Okay.
And he's 10 and when you see him in the game, I guess he's like 10 feet tall. And he comes after you with these extremely long arms and legs. You can't outrun him. So
right. Okay. So I thought what you were saying was that people were
like that was part of the actual game.
That as they progressed in the game, these videos were coming up, like Grand Theft Auto,
right?
And that they were then taking these videos and that they saw in the game and posting them on YouTube. But what you're saying is that people are taking this character,
yes,
and creating these videos
that are extremely inappropriate for children.
Okay, okay. Well, then. Yes, I agree with you on why parents are not supervising their kids was watching these videos. But who are the
YouTube
parents?
Kids, right? That they made that. YouTube actually took some responsibility and made YouTube Kids. So parents, if your kids are under 12, have them watch YouTube Kids that has appropriate content for children under 12. Don't let them free run on YouTube, because there's a lot of crazy shit on YouTube, obviously. As I found out by doing a little bit of research today and came across Huggy Wuggy.
That's awful. And that is why humanity is doomed.
That's one aspect of it, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fun times. So is that all you had? Because
for that one, that's all I got. Right.
Okay.
I am just throwing out my parenting advice and disgust at other parents who were like, I don't know why they won't sleep. They were sleeping just fine last week. And then I let them run rampant with my phone for 4 days. And now they won't even go look at their bedroom closet with the lights off. Well, thanks for scarring your children for life.
And I'm sure they did. So
I'm
good job.
I'm sure they did too. Yeah.
Okay. So here's my next one.
Okay.
What exactly is the purpose of leaf blowers? Because there really can't be anything more useless in the world, because you're literally just blowing shit around, and then it looks good for a bit, and then like actual wind comes in and then just puts it right back to where it was. So is there any actual use for leaf blowers?
I'm just going to tell you, they're fun as hell to use. They are a man's. Put on a pair of headphones or put on a pair of like muffs like this and fire up the motor on your steel 146 mile an hour wind speed leaf blower and have at it, man. It's all about the horsepower. It's like Tim the Tool Man Taylor. You want to start grunting like a man, alpha male. And you just rip right through your front lawn. Now, is it practical? No. Is it fun? Yeah. It's fun as hell. You can blow them all up into here's one thing you can do. You can blow them all up into an absolutely massive pile if you have a lot of trees. And then you can let the kids jump in the leaves. We used to do that all the time. Because we had these 300-foot cottonwood trees in our front yard at my old house. Not my house that you knew, the one before that. These massive cottonwood trees. And our leaves were that deep throughout the whole double lot. And so I'd fire up the leaf blower and blow them all into a pile that would be about 5 or 6 feet tall. And the kids would run down the hill and just wham, dive in there and have a blast. So there is that.
So it has no real practical use except to set up a pile of leaves that your kids are either going to jump in.
Right. Or you can have one hell of a fire. We did that one until the police showed up.
Yeah.
Because they're like, Dave, it's recreational fires 3x3x3. Yeah, this one got out of control. Half my front yard's on fire.
Yeah, that happened to me too, except I was like 12. And I was in a schoolyard. And the fire went into not the schoolyard. That's a story for another time though. So you're going to want to unmute your mic.
Oh, that is a story for another time.
Okay.
I didn't know you were a pyro.
That's
probably sealed though, right? Because you were a juvenile, so that's sealed. So
it was a complete accident, and no report got filed or anything. But
all right, I'm just checking because
no, I enjoy fire. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not a pyro.
Oh no,
but
yeah, I do too.
But I was at my sister's softball game, and I didn't want to watch it, so I went over to the playground because it was my school too, and they had humongous trees and a lot of leaves, and so I would take a few, and I had some matches, just a little small pile. It's a little small pile.
Everybody carried matches in his pocket.
Well, right.
That's part of the right of manhood.
And so I would light a little pile and then, stomp it out. Well, on the last one that I was going to do, I happened to turn around and there were two girls that we were giving each other a hard time earlier. And then I had left them. Well, they were coming to see what I was doing, and not wanting them to see what I was doing, decided to play it off and started kicking the leaves around.
Yeah, that was your first mistake.
Yes. Well, I was like 11 or 12 or something like this. I was young and stupid. Well, the leaves did not go out, and they landed in much bigger pile of leaves.
Yeah.
Which set the entire corner of the playground on fire. And I still tried to stomp it out though. That did not work. But
I know what I would have done. I'd have walked up to the girl that was giving you a hard time, handed her the book of matches, and ran away going, "Why did you start that fire? Why did you start that fire?" And then just take off running. Let everybody see her standing there.
Yeah.
That's how you get back at somebody who's giving you a hard time.
That thought did not occur to me. It was, oh my God, 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 what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? That was what was going in through my head. Gotcha. Well, anyway, one of the neighboring houses came out with their hose, put it out, and obviously there had to be some sort of authorities called. But because they could see that I was, because all my legs were red, because I had tried to stop
it out, yeah.
Because I tried to stomp it out, and they could see that I was trying to stop it. It was an accident, and so they just drove me home, and that was the end of it. Gotcha. But so yeah, that's my pyro story. Welcome to the big leagues, everyone. So, all right, your last one, I'm assuming.
Is it my last one?
Well, I mean, we only got 15 minutes left, so I mean, we'll see.
All right. I don't know. I got to dig around. All right. I like this one, though. This is the one about a planet. So this isn't really this is just a really cool thing. So the planet that rains gemstones, a massive gas giant about 855 light years from Earth, has a bizarre and violent climate, says CNN.com. A new study of WASP 121b shows unusual weather conditions, including metallic clouds and rain made of liquid gems. First discovered in 2015, the exoplanet is bigger than Jupiter, and the intense gravitational pull of the star it orbits has warped it into a football shape. It is tidally locked as the moon is to Earth, meaning one side is always hot in the daylight, and the other side is permanently dark and much cooler. On the hot side, water atoms evaporate into the sky and are then hurtled to the cooler side by winds that average 11,000 miles an hour. That's a tad brisk.
That's a wind advisory right there.
That's a wind advisory right there, man. Because of the enormous temperature difference on the cool night side, down from 5,840 degrees Fahrenheit on the sunny side to 2,240 degrees on the dark side, the atoms from the metal clouds made of iron and corundum, a mineral found in rubies and sapphires, causes the liquid to fraction and it actually rains jewels. It actually rains like there. Okay, it's 755 light years. What did I say? 855. Sorry, 855 light years away. So this is what I'm thinking. Right, we talked about this a little while back. You get the guy with the M drive to actually put it into space use. Right, you knock the 855 light years down to about 300 light years. Okay. You send a team out there with a big excavation scoop. You fly over to the other side. You scoop up all of the rain down gems. You bring them back, and we solve the world hunger crisis. And we balance our budget. And if that's not a hum moment right there, I don't know what is. That's what I got.
I got nothing.
I figured
I got nothing to add to that.
I thought it was fascinating. I wish it was closer. If it was like 855 miles, I might even get a hold of Elon Musk and be like, dude, suit me up. I'm flying out. We're going to fly out there.
855 miles. That would mean that this planet, which is bigger than Jupiter, would be closer to us than the moon.
Yeah. It's got a hell of a, like 11,000 mile an hour winds too.
Which we would probably feel.
You probably would get a little breeze. We probably feel a little bit of that blowback.
It would make golfing a little more difficult.
That'd be a challenge. I think we'd all have great tans.
At what was it? 5,800 degrees?
Yeah. 5,840 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right. And even on the dark side, it's 2,200 degrees.
Yeah, 2,240. Yep.
Yeah, you can get a tan.
Yeah.
You feel a little heat.
It'd be a warm, constant breeze. I tell you, it'd probably be bad for global warming. Like, I'm kind of guessing that the polar ice caps and everything else would be gone 2-3 weeks, tops.
I would think 2 to 3 hours, along with the rest.
We have a lot of brand new lakeshore.
Which
California would be gone. So, like everybody in Phoenix would now have oceanfront property.
I think Phoenix would be gone too.
Yeah, maybe.
I think
Flagstaff's high enough. Flagstaff would have a beautiful view of the ocean.
Yes. I have the perfect example of what that would be like. One year when I was down visiting my father, he lives right on a amazing golf course. And as you leave the development, it goes right past the par 5. It's like 560 yards or something like that. And it's got undulating hills and stuff. And, like all the tee boxes are raised and the green is really raised. Well, the night before I was going to leave, it rained, and they don't get a lot of rain. So they don't have hardly any sort of drainage system. No. So as you drove out of it and you passed this par 5, literally this 500 yards, the only things that weren't underwater were the 2 tee boxes and the green. And my dad and I made a joke about how you should take a photo of it and say that is the hardest par 5 you will ever have to play.
I would agree. I would have taken a photo of it and made a comment like that.
So that's kind of what it would be. It would be, you would be able to see on like a satellite photo, Flagstaff, and
Colorado.
Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
Yes. Some of Colorado, like Aspen.
Yeah. Mount Shasta would still be good. Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else would be gone.
Be gone water. Yeah.
And like the Sears Tower. Maybe that survives.
Yeah.
So not
move
a very
to
good
high
thing.
ground.
Right. Well, that is if this planet were 855 miles away.
Right. So luckily it's
not
855 light years away.
Right. Yes.
And I don't remember what a light year is, and I'm not going to look it up right now. But
it was amazing.
It's a long distance.
It's long
It's a long distance.
Wasn't it? I think it was like 9 trillion miles or something like that.
I was gonna say it's like, yeah, I was gonna say 13 billion. So we're in the same kind of like astronomical neighborhood.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that all you had for that one?
Yep, that's all I got.
Okay. So for my next one, and I'm kind of debating on which one to do, but I don't understand, and this makes me think a lot. Why is it that traffic cones and barrels don't get picked up until like 3 months, 4 months after the construction is completed? And on a side kind of off ramp thought, what is it about bridges that makes everybody hit their brakes? It makes me think.
Well, I could tell you why the cones stay out there so that cops can write more tickets for speeding in a work zone. Because even though there's not a damn thing going on there, and they drop the speed limit from 65 to 50, and then it says double fines in work zone, even though the work zone is completely over with, there's not a single truck around, but the cones are still there, you still get the ticket, which is bullshit.
Well, I mean,
I've never gotten one, but I've seen people pulled over and thought about it and be like, that's just wrong to leave those cones there and then write a ticket for that.
I am talking about like even the speed limit's put back up, the double, the work zone is gone, but you just drive down the highway
and see the cones.
And there's like a half a mile of barrels just sitting on the side, not getting picked up. And
worker shortage.
I just keep wondering why are they continually left there? I don't understand. And it makes me go, like there's got to be a reason for it beyond like a work zone thing. Although if that is it,
overproduction. Like somebody accidentally tripled a huge order, and they got it in triplicate, and next thing you know, 12 million barrels showed up, and they were only supposed to get 4 million. And they're like, "What the hell? Who ordered 12 million orange barrels?"
We'll just leave them here because in another 7 years,
right?
Or in 7 years we're going to be back anyways, and they'll already be here.
Right. 3 years we're going to be doing the bridge down the road. Just leave them that way. We don't have to pay the transportation costs on them.
But I mean, just down the road from us on I-94, they finished that whole 4-lane expansion, blah blah blah, months ago.
Yep.
There are still barrels sitting on the side of the road for it. Just sitting.
I wonder what would happen if somebody pulled up in a big flatbed and just got out and just started loading the barrels onto their own personal flatbed.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of teenagers who that's what they do. They go and they try to steal cones and barrels and stuff from construction sites.
I don't think it was me, but I knew people who would go steal the yellow flashing lights that used to sit on top of the barricades because we didn't have cones and all that shit back in my early days. It was barricades.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I had 3 of those in my bedroom. I don't know how the hell they got there. But I did have 3. They were pretty damn cool. I mean, I don't know. It's just a thing to do, but it was pretty cool to have like some construction lights flashing in my room at night.
Yeah, you had no idea.
No, I had no idea
how they got there.
I don't know. I heard a loud crash. Next thing you know, there were 3 construction lights flashing in my room. So, and honestly, if you guys who listen to this show have not noticed, if you're still listening, yeah.
Well, of course you're still listening. But if you're driving down the freeway and you're coming to a bridge, watch other cars. You will start to see brake lights come on for no reason. Like there's no traffic. There's nobody in front of them. They'll just hit their brakes for no reason. right as they approach a bridge. And it bothers me a lot to see this. It makes me sad too. Because again, these are probably the same people who are making Huggy Wuggy videos when they get home. And they will be the end of humanity.
Yeah, that's so if you're listening and you're making Huggy Wuggy videos, just find a new hobby.
Legos is amazing.
Torment your own kids or torment your own nephews and nieces, but don't put that shit out online and start ruining kids' lives. That's not cool.
That's not cool.
Because regretfully, there are irresponsible parents who don't monitor what their children are watching, and so these kids are getting sucked into this thing. And I mean, I imagine it's pretty traumatic. I watched one today, and if I were 5 years old, I'd be scared too.
I have no interest.
I was doing research. I mean, I wanted to see like what all the hoopla was about, so I watched one. And it starts out innocent, like with this kid's song and this cute little puppet. You know? And it takes a really dark turn about 1 minute and 10 seconds in on a 3 minute and 12-second video.
It reminds me, maybe I had my own Huggy Wuggy experience. I mean, it didn't traumatize me. I was old enough and I found it hilarious. But I used to have a short audio clip. And it was Elmo, and it was Elmo's, da 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 da. This is the song, la 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 la, the Elmo song. Well, then all of a sudden, gunfire would ring out, and you'd hear this little kid's voice go, "Shut the fuck up!" So maybe that's just me, okay? Maybe I'm just a little demented, but that was my own Huggy Wuggy right there. All right. But again, I was older. I was in high school.
It is absolutely horrible. Why am I laughing?
Because it's hilarious.
It is. As an adult, it is funny. To a kid, it would not be funny.
No, not at all. But there is also a site. There's a site that was out at that time called birtisevil.com. I mean, it's obviously since been taken down because it's been many, many years. But
that was Bert and Ernie.
It was Bert and Ernie, and it was that Bert was like this was the incarnate of evil.
Yeah.
He was Hitler's right-hand man, like somebody photoshopped him with Hitler.
Yeah.
But one of the photos that I saw that was on this site, it was Elmo looking absolutely stoned off his gourd, being held by this little kid who had a hypodermic needle, and it was called "Shoot Me Up, Elmo." Reminiscing. Nostalgia galore.
This show has taken a turn.
That's right.
It started out with dual wet dreams, and it ends with hypodermic "Shoot Me Up, Elmo."
Welcome to the Odyssey Files.
Exactly. This is like a Twilight Zone version, man.
Well, this was a fun episode. I mean, obviously, we really didn't get into anything paranormal.
I couldn't find anything, honestly. And when I thought about it, I'm like, I don't really know that there's too much out there paranormal that would make me go, I wonder why something like that would happen. I kind of think I got a little bit of a logical answer for just about anything that gets thrown my way. So I really couldn't think of anything. Otherwise, I would have had one.
Well, here is the one that I had. And this was the thoughtful one. And we don't necessarily need to get into it because it is something
Why don't you just say it.
Right. This is actually something that I plan on asking Michelle Belanger when she comes on.
Okay.
And obviously, because she's the author of the Dictionary of Demons. And that is, with everybody thinking, because of these TV shows and the recreation, things where everything is evil, that everybody thinks that everything is a demon.
Yep.
With all of that mentality going on out there in the public eye, does that make it easier for actual demonic entities to come in, to exist,
to just kind of slide right into existence?
Well, not into existence, because that would mean
plane,
that,
I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, does it make it easier for them to start their stuff, to come onto our plane and because excuse me,
Bless you.
almost as global consciousness, with so many people believing everything is demonic,
Right.
does that fuel them in what they are doing?
Or does it create a topa of a new demon?
I don't know if that could even exist, but that's again another question to ask Michelle Belanger.
Right.
Can we create our own demons? And I don't mean like the emotional demons or whatever,
No. Right. Real demons. Right. Part of Satan's legion, in his fight with God and against Michael and right. I got you. I know what we're talking about.
Right.
Like true good versus evil.
Sure.
Well, I mean, that's the ultimate good versus evil. That's where it started.
Well, right. I get that. So,
I mean, obviously we've branched off from there because that's just who we are as a society, but we're seeing good versus evil now, today.
Always.
So
that was my thoughtful one. And paranormal one. So I mean, we'll get into that in a later episode.
I think that's a good question for her
with Michelle, and discuss that sort of thing. So, but for the listener who is hopefully still listening, think about it yourself. And if you have an idea of what you think the answer for that would be, go ahead and either send us a message or send us an email, odysseyfilesradio@gmail.com. If you have a question or story that you would like Dave and I to answer, live on the air, or just in general, if you're seeking help or advice, more than happy to help you, and to give you that, or point you to somebody that does.
We know a lot of people.
Yes, we do. So odysseyfilesradio@gmail.com. So anyway, that does it for things that make you go, Hope that everybody enjoyed it. Obviously, your friend did, with the amount of messages she sent.
There was a couple different people were hitting me up. So,
gotcha. All right. Well,
they enjoyed it from the comments that I got. So,
gotcha. So, we'll be back next week with another brand new episode. Hopefully, we'll have. There's multiple people we're trying to get booked. So I don't want to start throwing out names or whatever. So
no, they're all in the pipeline. It's just getting a date, locking it down. So
exactly. So we'll be back here with another brand new episode next week. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe. We want to see you back here. Everyone.